Today is Monday, July 10th, and this is William Michael of the Classical Liberal Arts Academy. I'd like to share an important announcement today based on the status of our accreditation, and that's really coming as a result of the discussions and the debating that we've gone through with our accreditation evaluators as we've talked about the mission of the Classical Liberal Arts Academy, what we're working to accomplish, how we want to do it, and what's allowed by the accrediting agency, because just as much as we were applying to be considered for accreditation, we were also using the application process for our own discernment of whether or not we actually wanted to pursue accreditation. And there were a number of things that we had been working on that we anticipated would be required. But as we actually got into the discussions with the evaluators, dug through all of the agency's policies and procedures, we realized, together these things sort of dawned on the evaluators and on my wife and I as we went through our meetings. We realized that some of the things that we were beginning to do, we don't actually need to do. And this is great for us because my desire is to host self-paced online courses. There's just a million reasons why that's the best. I really don't want formally organized courses with time schedules and things like that. I just don't think it's helpful. I think it causes more trouble than it remedies any troubles. I don't think homeschool families especially are actually going to follow those scheduled courses, and we end up just having more self-paced courses. But I was willing to do that because I thought that it would be necessary for accreditation or for use in schools. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that accreditation does not actually require us to organize any grade level courses at all. It's amazing how modern schools justify what they do by appealing to things like accreditation, only to learn that there are no demands for these things from accreditation at all. Unfortunately, for most Christian schools, because they don't go into accreditation asking questions, arguing a little bit, and trying to find out what options are available, they just go in timidly, submitting to anything that's suggested at the beginning. They never have a chance to actually find out what's possible. But I've learned through the years in doing these things, whether it's been with school inspectors or licensing agencies, I've learned to read all the policies and codes for myself and to ask questions and to try to find creative ways that things can be done within the policies. And so as I started to poke around, I saw that the accrediting agency nowhere required grade level scheduled studies. And I asked the evaluator about that, and she didn't even know how to respond. She had to actually get back to me on it, and thankfully, because she's a good evaluator, she actually went and dug through the policies and found answers to my questions, which confirmed what I was saying, that we actually don't need to have grade level courses, which is a radical breakthrough for classical Catholic studies, as I'll show in the future. But What this has done is it's made plans for grade level studies to be completely unnecessary. And considering that I don't want to offer them in the first place, but was willing to for the sake of accreditation, now that I know that accreditation's not even interested in them, I certainly am not interested in them, so I'm going to cancel plans for grade level courses in the academy. And if parents just continue to insist on them, that's their own problem. I don't know why they're doing that. It doesn't make any sense. And even worse, they're not going to keep the scheduled courses going anyway. And self-paced studies would be better. But as far as the Classical Liberal Arts Academy is concerned, plans for grade level studies are, as of today, canceled because they are not necessary. Now, we've got a small number of students, very small. I would think twice about this if there were 10 students who have made significant progress through our freshman year of high school program, but there aren't that many. Half of them are my own kids, and I certainly don't care that my kids are in those courses. So what I'm going to do is leave the 9th grade freshman program open for those who are enrolled in it so they can keep working without any disturbance. And then we're simply going to transfer what they get done over into the regular courses, and they'll pick up as sophomores working in the regular academy courses. Now listen carefully as I explain this, because I'm going to explain how high school studies, how grade level studies, for the sake of transcripts and things like that, are going to work. All of the grade level studies we intended to offer, we're going to draw their content from our existing self-paced courses. So all of the content is the same. What I'm going to do is mark points in the online self-paced courses where certain grade level requirements would have been completed. So for example, in world history, in freshman year, the kids studied the first 35 chapters of the world history textbook. So what I'm going to do is, in the world history course, which is a self-paced course, at the end of lesson 35, I'm going to add a certificate, an optional certificate. And when a student completes lessons 1 through 35, if he desires to, he can print that 9th grade world history certificate and have that as a record with the completion of the requirements for 9th grade world history. And I'm pretty sure I can include his grade on that certificate. If not, it's not a big deal, but he'll have evidence that he completed 9th grade history. And I'll do the same thing in the other courses, the same thing for science, the same thing for English composition, English literature, and so on. So there will just be these points in the online courses where an optional certificate will be available for a student who wants it for the sake of marking high school studies completed and for putting together a transcript later on. Within our system, within the Moodle LMS that we use, we have endless resources in terms of reporting. So anytime a student wants to prepare a transcript or something like that at the end of their studies, we can simply run reports on their progress and grades for specific lessons that would be included in that grade and produce the student's grade for the transcript. So none of that stuff will be a problem. The benefit of all of this to everyone, including myself, the benefit is that all of our effort in terms of course building, assessment, publishing, and so on will be focused on just one set of courses. So we won't have two different versions of courses being put together, which just doubles the amount of boring tasks that need to be done. All of our time and energy can be concentrated on the self-paced online courses, and everyone will be studying the same courses, whether they're adult students or just working through a course at their own pace, or whether they're working to fill or satisfy grade level requirements. So everything will be done through our ordinary self-paced online courses. Now, over the weekend, this past weekend, I sat down and I rewrote the page on our website that explains how to select courses. So if you go on the Academy website at classicalliberalarts.com, and up on the top menu, click the link for course selection or course of study, whatever the link says, you'll see that that page has been rewritten. And in the rewriting of that page, I've included all of the details of what I'm introducing here. I also made a printable version of that information available on that page. Right at the top of the page, you'll see that there's a link to print that information, and it just explains how you should think about planning your children's studies in the Academy. What should you do about classical studies? What about Catholic studies? What about grade level studies? These things are all different. How will they all work together? It's all explained on that page, and I think it's become pretty clear how it all needs to work. And I've explained it there. So take some time as a parent, go to that page, the course of study page on the Academy website, and read through it. Read through it from beginning to end, because I think you'll find it helpful. And I can assure you that what's explained on that course of studies page is going to be accredited in the near future. So not only is it an explanation of what to do or how to do it, it's also a plan that's going to be approved by the accreditation agency and be that much more useful moving forward. So just to summarize, as a result of our interactions and discussions with the accrediting agency, we have confirmed that there is no need for grade level studies in the Classical Liberal Arts Academy, and therefore plans for grade level studies are canceled as of today. I'm going to begin removing those courses this evening and just shutting all of that down and focusing all of my attention on the continued development of our self-paced online courses. So that's really going to be a great break for the Academy in terms of workload that we have to deal with, and it will really help us this upcoming year to make great progress in filling out and publishing our existing self-paced courses. So that's the important news that I wanted to share and walk through. If you've got any questions about these things, just get in touch with me. I'm happy to talk through the details. And like I said, this affects a very small number of students. We really didn't have much interest in grade level studies. Like I said, my motivation in pursuing it was in anticipation of accreditation requirements, but I've now learned that there are no such thing. So this affects a very small number of students, and I think those students can easily be moved over to the self-paced courses, and they won't need to go back and do anything over again. We'll just manually mark things complete and even enter their grades into the grade book. We can take care of that. And I think that we'll go through this change of plans without any bumps. So I'm going to be working on that this week, just finalizing that change of plans, and then we're going to move forward with just one set of courses, which is going to be great. So again, if you have any questions, get in touch. I don't think this is going to cause any trouble for anyone, but at the same time I ask you to be patient, because this is a pretty significant development in our program as we get ready for accreditation, which is going to benefit everyone, and some inconvenience along the way is not going to be very significant down the road. And that's that. So any questions, get in touch. I hope that's helpful to give you an idea of what's going on. And I'll keep you posted on any updates. God bless.